The next one comes out tomorrow.
It does.
This dude, okay, so he was telling me about this. It's a pretty good fucking story.
Okay, well, tell the story. Also, who are you? What's your name, sir? Stranger in my house.
Okay, we're gonna go with Scottathan.
Scottathan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
that's what's up.
Also, I'm not going to work tomorrow. Officially.
Nope, I am not going to work tomorrow either.
I'm not either.
Welcome to
not
the
going to
I'm
work
not going to work tomorrow podcast.
Yeah. Well, it's also Saturday though.
Yeah, it'd be that way.
Fair.
I'm not going to be able to call you Scottathan.
Yeah.
How about just Scott?
We can go with that.
Scott,
Yeah.
tell me a story.
All right. So I'm gonna tell you the story of meeting my estranged family today.
Yeah. So let's get a little bit backstory before we get into like the full-fledged story of what happened today. Can you give us a bit of a background?
Oh, of course. Like we're gonna start way at the beginning. Sometime in the early '90s, two people smashed. About 9-10 months later, here I come out into the world.
Just
Take my first breath of air.
Just a tiny little Scottathan,
yeah.
a little babe.
A wee lad. And so the two people that smashed were not married.
Mm.
And
These two people, they don't happen to be Scottathan's parents, do they?
they do happen to be Scottathan's parents.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of people smashing in the early 90s, but these two people are important to the
These
story.
two in particular.
Yes, they are.
You guys remember that scene from fucking Dazed and Confused?
Yeah.
Where he was like, dude, imagine out there right now somewhere, two people are having sex. They're just going at it.
Statistically speaking, more than two people are having sex right now.
Yeah, it's probably like a lot more than like 40.
Definitely more than 40.
Yeah. In the world?
Oh, yeah.
Way more than 40.
Way more
Yeah.
than 40. Several thousand, I would say.
Yeah, at least.
At
There's a
least.
lot of fucking going on at any given
I
time.
mean, there's 7 billion people in the world. It's probably
And it's-
more like a few million.
It's Saturday night, bro.
Yeah.
This is
so
getting it time.
probably like 10 million.
Yeah.
Could be.
This number kept getting, everybody's fucking.
We're not fucking right now.
Yeah, we're
definitely not.
Yeah, that's a sad
Yeah.
realization there.
Yeah.
Welcome to Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, so
All
continue.
right. So, I guess for whatever reason, it just didn't work out between those two people.
Mhm.
And so the father just dipped and, made like a tree and
Leaved.
And, the mother tried to find him. Couldn't ever find him because he got the hell out of town, apparently. And, so yeah, grew up daddyless till I was about 11 or 12.
So, like, I know you probably wouldn't remember at this point, but, like, was he around when you were born and then dipped, or did he dip before you were born?
He was around for a little bit, probably the first month or so. And then, she took me around to see all of his family and stuff. So they all had pictures and shit of that nature. And
Yeah, which
knew
is
of my
important
existence.
for the rest of the story.
Yeah, it is. It's very important. So, I grew up without him, got curious a few times. I think I was about 10 years old and I searched the phone book and found his name, but it was his dad because they have the same name. It's a junior, senior kind of thing. And I never called or anything like that because my mom was like, no, you probably don't need to do that. I doubt he's there. And so just left it alone. And, then she got married. My stepdad, who stepped into the role and kind of beat me into shape. I was probably 16, 17. We started butting heads a lot and, kind of, it was some common, kid stepdad bullshit, You know, he'd tell me to do something, and I'd be a smart ass, and he didn't like that. You know, a lot of fights and shrewd because of this. So, you know, I was at school one day, and then they show up and check me out of school. It was about halfway through my senior year. I get in the car with them, and my stepdad turns around and he's like, "So you're moving out?" And I was like, what fuck? What do you mean I'm moving out?" He's like, "I'm tired of all the drama, and you're going to go live somewhere else with your uncle. You're going to pay rent and stuff." And I was like, "Okay." So left there, you know, finished school. You know, like, the worst part about that was it was outside of like the bus range, and I didn't have a car, so like I just had to walk to school.
Fuck.
Yeah, and it was cold.
Couldn't even walk to like a bus stop?
No, like the school wouldn't issue me a bus pass to ride the bus to school.
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, they were like, "No, you can't do that. We need mail with my parents' name on it." They weren't changing their address. So
My mom cheated that with Maplesville. We're way outside the range. But she got her friends from Maplesville to just let her send a letter to herself at their address.
yeah, no, my parents wouldn't do that. So I just walked. But you know, graduated, and was, you know, I was at this crossroads of what I wanted to do with life. And, you know, I decided that I was going to go in the military, and I started filling out the fucking book of an application that they give you. And, you know, I got about halfway through it, and then you got to this point about your parents. And I was able to fill out everything about my mom, but I couldn't fill out shit about my dad. And I didn't really know how to get around it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to hunt down my dad so I can find, you know, fill this paperwork out and, you know, get on my merry way. And so I called her, and I was like, I need to know everything that you can tell me about him so I can hunt him down. And, you know, she was very much against it and basically refused to tell me anything other than his name, and said it was a waste of time. I wouldn't be able to find him. Went as far as to say that it might not even be him, that it might be this guy that she met at a bar in Americus on a one-night stand.
Okay, so I saw the picture of your dad.
Yeah.
There's not a chance you're anyone else's kid.
No. Like,
I have to say that is very apt.
Yeah, no, it was definitely the spawn of that man.
Yeah. So I have a question, if I could interject for just a second.
Absolutely.
So with the military application and stuff, was it just, could you just opt out of giving that information, or was this kind of like a personal thing to?
I mean, probably if I tried hard enough,
Yeah.
I could get around it. I'm sure people go in the military all the time without, you know, both parents.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, the go-to for anyone from a broken home.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was like an orphan growing up in an orphanage or some shit, the first thing I would do is go to the military when I got out of there.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what a lot of them do if they don't end up somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. It's like they try to make it really easy to bring in young kids to go into the military.
Well, yeah, you know, you got to be kind of young and dumb so you don't realize that you're signing your life away to go potentially get a bullet in the brain.
Yeah.
Also, this is a really sad story. Just, like,
I know it's like sad to start with, but
I just don't want to. I feel bad if I make a joke in the middle of it.
Oh no, joke away. Like
I've heard the rest of the story, and it does get better. I can guarantee you.
Yeah, the suspense is like, I'm really ready to know what happened.
I'm just like trying to lay down, you know, the backstory to this, so we're all on the same page.
We need the backstory. I'm
for
just
the rest of this to really make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not to be a fucking Debbie Downer here.
Down, Debbie.
Don't feel bad for joking about it.
Okay.
I have. My friends have.
Can confirm.
Yeah. Yeah. He has.
Many times.
Yes. Fuck, where was I? Military application. Try to find dead Americans. Okay. So yeah, she told me that it might be this dude in Americus that she had on a one night stand, and really didn't want me to hunt him down. And my stepdad was like real butthurt about me wanting to find out about him because he felt like kind of offended that like he didn't do a good enough job or something because I wanted to find my biological father, and it was one of those things like, dude, that has nothing to do with it. This is just a burning question that I need an answer to.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100% understandable that you would want to know these things. It's a part of your life. It is the reason for your life.
Yeah. And I mean, my stepdad, he has a lot of mental issues and things like that. And I could kind of see where it was coming from, but at the same time, like, dude, this has got to happen at some point. You're just prolonging the inevitable here.
Yeah, especially considering you're an adult.
Yeah.
In all intents and purposes.
Yeah, like, you can't just get butthurt that I'm curious about where I fucking came from.
Yeah. The sack you swam out of.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and I'm definitely not the only one. But he, I guess he was kind of pushing my mom a little bit to kind of push me away from it. And eventually I just got tired of it and said, fuck it. And just put down the whole search and was like, you know what? If I do find him one day, great. If not, no skin off my back. Biological father, he may be my father, but he's not my dad.
Right.
My stepdad is my dad. He taught me a lot. Really played a key role in raising me to get me where I am.
Mm-hmm.
But so I said fuck it, didn't do the military, and went on to become an electrician. And then here we are 11 years later. And I'm sitting kind of curious. I haven't really thought about it in a while. It's a Sunday night. I had a beer or two. Step out back to smoke a cigarette, and then it just comes over me. I'm like, man, I'm really kind of curious about this. And I'd never actually searched his name on social media. Like, I know a lot of people would think that would be the first step you should do, but when I last was looking, not everybody in the fucking world had a social media.
Back in the MySpace days?
No, this was like,
what was this, 2011, 2012?
Yeah, 2011-ish.
Not everybody had a Facebook.
That's not the first thing you do in 2011, 2012.
No.
Yeah, that was mostly like teenagers, college kids, not 40-year-old, 50-year-old men, at least none that didn't have some kind of weird agenda, at least.
Or, lots of money.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
If I had lots of money, the very next thing that happens, I want one. If I'm super rich, I want to know what's happening. I want the newest shit.
Yeah. I mean,
that's fair.
Fair enough.
If I had my way, I'd have state-of-the-art computer. The absolute best one, like a Switch, fucking all the PS whatever, the Xbox 47,000.
I want the shit that you haven't even released yet.
Yeah, I want a fucking pre-release.
Yeah. But, I mean, really, if you're stupid rich, you don't want all that shit because it's easier to find you. And you kind of don't really need to be found when you got a shitload of money.
Then what's the point of making a shitload of money?
Yeah, I want that goddamn.
Fair enough.
I want that Sega Gamecast, bro.
I want all that shit, bro.
I want.
They make things called VPNs.
You guys didn't catch the Sega Gamecast reference, did you?
No.
You know what that's from?
No.
It's
I assumed you were just like saying Dreamcast wrong.
No. It was intentional. It's from Malibu's Most Wanted. Remember that Jamie Kennedy movie from like 2003?
Is that the one with B-Rad in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the details of that movie.
It's a stupid movie.
I watched it.
With kind of
King Kong, motherfucker.
King Kong ain't got nothing on me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a stupid reference. I'm sorry.
But that was a reference to Training Day, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
A reference and a reference and a reference.
Yeah, it's referenceception.
Yeah.
Referenceception.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yep.
So you're thinking about it.
So, yeah. So fast forward. Sunday night.
Yeah, here we go. I fucking totally lost that train of thought. So Sunday night, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I've never really searched his name on social media. So I got on Facebook and I typed in his name, and I found a guy that had his name with a 4th at the end of it. And I'm like, I don't think he's a 4th. But, I looked at the profile picture and I kind of felt like I was looking at myself, because he looked a lot fucking like me, but he had like no friends, no posts, nothing. So I sent him a friend request and was like, all right, let's see what happens here. So fast forward to Wednesday, about 1 o'clock. I'm sitting at a table looking over some prints, trying to work, and I get a message and a friend request from this random lady who I will not name. And she messages me, and I look at it, and she's like, hey, I'm looking for a family member that you might know. And so I respond, and I'm like, okay, who is it? And the next thing she sends me is a picture of me as a 2-week-old baby.
His nose was that big and that recognizable.
Yeah, and like, it was definitely me, because I have the same picture. And she flipped it over, and my name was written on the back with my birthday and all that. And I was like, shook. What? Fuck.
I mean, like you do.
Yeah. Like,
when someone shows you your own baby picture that you've never met.
Yeah. Like, what the hell? And so my natural response was, how did you get that? Who gave it to you? And she starts telling me, she's had that picture for a very long time, and it was inside a picture book. She never pulled it out and looked at the back of it, but her mother died the day before, and so they were going through a bunch of pictures, and they picked up that book, and my picture fell out.
You're like, oh, who is this big nose
And
child?
she's like, I know I'm supposed to know this kid, but I don't know his name. And so at that point, she flips it over and sees my name on the back, and then is like, oh my God, I got a name. And starts, she tells her husband or her friend that she's with, and they're like, well, start looking them up on Facebook or something, because apparently that's the first thing you're supposed to do.
In 2023, yeah.
Yeah. Times have changed.
Indeed. So, did you say what family member this was? Like,
yeah, this woman that messaged you, who is she?
Or do you want to say?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Getting
I'm sorry,
there.
I won't interrupt.
Yeah. So she says her mother died. She has this picture. She found it, found my name, looked me up on social media, found me, messaged me, also messaged my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking, I'm still trying to like hammer out who are you? Why do you have that picture? Who gave it to you? She's like, I got it from this young girl a long time ago that was, my brother's girlfriend, and, she was real sweet, but I cannot remember her name, yada, yada, yada. And then she's like, are you the one I'm looking for? Are you the one in the picture? And I'm like, so at that point I put the phone down and I go out, I step out of my office and call my mom. And I'm like, hey, do you know this person? And she's like, it sounds familiar, but I can't say it off the top of my head. And I'm like, did my biological father have a sister? And she's like, yes, he did. And I'm like, was this her name? And that sounds about right, but why are you bringing it up? And I'm like, because she just messaged me and sent me a picture of me as a 2-week-old baby. And she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm kind of shook right now, and I'm trying to figure out, is this some kind of scam or is this real? What's going on here? And she's like, well, I mean, that name sounds right. She's definitely his sister. But you need to be careful because they're all batshit crazy. And, I'm like, well, I mean, our family is not exactly not crazy.
Yeah, that is a bit of an understatement.
Yeah.
You're the only one I know.
I'm probably the most sane.
You're a pretty sane feller.
Yeah.
You have weird takes on spoons.
Yeah. Well, it's because you shouldn't try to get the biggest spoon possible. You need to get the little one because that's the one meant to be eaten with.
I don't think that you have to get the biggest spoon possible. I just don't understand oh no, I'd rather rip my own tongue out than use a big spoon. I don't understand that.
Look, bro, a tablespoon is meant for serving shit. And a teaspoon is meant to eat with.
A spoon is a spoon.
Dude, like...
Sometimes all the little spoons ain't clean.
You know what? I need my wife here to explain the difference with the spoons because she did cotillion and shit, and would definitely settle
my
this
caveman
argument.
mouth is not going to give a fuck.
What the hell is quintillion?
Cotillion?
Cotillion, whatever the hell you just said.
It's basically where like people of affluence and money send their children to learn how to be fancy.
Oh,
so they can cosplay as like ballroom dancers.
There's like legit schooling for that. I thought it was just something.
It's kind of more of an extracurricular. Like
I thought it was just something.
Like, did you ever watch the movie Dirty Dancing?
Do
you know the basic premise of it at least?
Yeah, but I was like real young, and I vowed never to watch it again.
Yeah, it's not that great of a movie.
It's a terrible fucking movie.
At least if you identify as a man, you probably don't really give much of a shit about Dirty Dancing. But
yeah.
It takes place around like country clubs and stuff, and that's the kind of places that do cotillion.
I didn't know there was a name for being snobby.
When you're little and go into a class
Posh.
for it, there's a name for it.
I guess posh. Yeah, I didn't think about that at that given moment in time.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Now, to be fair, to your point, I didn't learn about this until after we were married. And, because I grew up in the backwoods,
Mm-hmm.
My spoon was made of wood.
We had a spoon made of wood. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it works all right.
I got one. We only use them for macaroni. That's what they're for. All of those are macaroni spoons over there. I have a collection of them.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
They have different kinds of macaroni.
Yeah.
Well, I really just I favor the one. I'm just going to use it till it dies and then pick another one.
Yeah. That's fair.
Damn it, boy.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Fuck.
At some point, you talk about your dad to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
You were on the phone with your mom.
Yeah, and she's like, be careful, they're crazy. And I'm like, I'm not worried about it, What's the worst they could do? Drug me and throw me in a river?
I mean, that's pretty bad.
I mean, it wouldn't be my problem anymore.
That's fair.
I guess not. But for however long it takes to finish off.
Yeah, I mean,
it'll be your problem until it's not.
Yeah, true. But I wasn't really worried about that at the point. It was I have family.
I would have gone too.
Yeah. It's like that carrot they're dangling in front of you.
Yeah, and now you got the nibble the tip of it, and now it's like I got to have the rest of this.
Yeah, no, I got.
I was thinking about you earlier today. Actually, I got on Ancestry.com.
Oh yeah.
Because I already did this. I have a big old family tree. I got this fucking massive amount of information about my mom's side of the family. I got nothing about my dad's. Like, I got my dad, but nobody has put my grandfather on my dad's side on our family tree.
Really?
Like, I just can't find him. I don't even know the motherfucker's name.
Huh. I had a very similar instance where I did the Ancestry.com thing, made the tree and all that, and
yeah.
Outside of my dad's immediate family, like his brothers and his sister and mom and dad and stuff, I don't know really any of them. Like, there's nobody with the same last name as me that I know that's not directly related to me. I did have some chick when I was like 22 message me and say, hey, I think we're related, and we had the same last name, but when she's listing people off that I might know, I had absolutely no fucking idea who she was.
She's a different Hanselman.
Yeah.
Hanselman is a really specific last name, though.
It is.
It's a very specific last name.
Yeah.
I guess Eads is, too.
Yeah.
I've never met an Eads that I wasn't related to, ever.
Yeah.
My last name is pretty common, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And it's always spelled differently with every family.
What was your name again?
Anyway.
I just want to know what I should call you.
Scottathan.
Scottathan?
Or
Scottathan.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Scottathan RideEntye.
Scottathan RideEntye. Yeah, so the RideEntye family name is
it's always spelled wrong. Every time you meet someone new with that last name, it's spelled differently.
RideEntye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or RideEntye.
Yeah.
RideEntye.
Damn it, boy.
Riding tire.
No, RideEntye.
RideEntye.
Tire.
The riding tires are from up north.
Yeah.
The riding tire.
There's also the riding tires.
Yeah, your name was almost Scottathan Riding Tire.
And then there's the Rodden tires.
Yeah, they're a whole nother breed.
Yeah.
Rodden tire. That's like meat and two veg.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
another interesting thing about Ancestry and 23andMe and all them, they don't show you Native American.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, most of those, most of the native tribes, they don't do like surnames, like how we have, last names and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
No, they don't.
So it's almost impossible to track the shit.
It's just a
Extremely hard.
tribe.
Yeah,
But-
you just get linked to a tribe and there you go.
But like how they're like, it's DNA testing and all that. They just take your DNA and just kind of compare it to other people.
Well, I
See
mean,
how similar you are to people
that's
who've been in other
that's
places.
basic DNA testing.
But they
Yeah.
can. There are some of them that give you back like what percentage fucking like Neanderthal you are and shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, not to bring race into it too much, but I feel like it's kind of, you can't avoid it in this. But there's a guy at work that I work with who is black. He is 100% African American, but he did the 23andMe thing and got the percentage breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And 90% of him is African, wholeheartedly. But then he's got 10% Irish in him.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
he made the joke.
Anybody who can hear, John has no mic etiquette yet.
Yeah.
He's eating Pringles. He's slamming trash cans.
Scorching sour cream and onions.
Sorry.
The man didn't eat dinner for some odd reason, so.
It's because I had lunch really, really late in
Yeah.
the day, and then I got hungry again, like right before we came here.
It's midnight right now, and just before you guys got here, I finished off a bowl of cereal.
Yeah. I'm not,
I had a bag of M&Ms on the way over.
What the fuck is happening?
and these fucking things have been staring at me this whole time. I should have ate them on the way over here. But
Yeah. Those scorching sour cream and onions are good.
I need some pussy chips. I'll have to tell that story later. Anyway, we need to know. I need to know what the fuck happened. You hadn't even got to the part where she said what she wanted you to go to.
Oh yeah,
We keep interrupting you.
yeah. We were back at, Mom saying they're crazy and shit, and it's like, we're pretty crazy too. And so I get off the phone with Mom, and I'm just like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna dive head first in here. And I responded to it. I was like, yeah, that's me in the picture. Are you like my aunt or some shit? And she's like, yes, your father was my brother. And I'm like, holy hell. And then right after that, we spoke. She told me, like, you've got 4 sisters and 2 brothers as well.
That's a lot of fucking kids, bro.
Yeah.
This man got around a little bit.
Her exact words were, he took go forth and prosper to heart.
Yeah. Are any of the kids by the same mom by chance? Or?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I don't think any of them are, though.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective, I've got a younger brother who's exactly a year younger than me. His birthday is like 4 days after mine, but the following year.
Yeah.
And he's got a different mom.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't think any of them have the same mother.
Probably not with that logic.
No.
So would you say your dad was definitely a wandering man? Kind of like wherever he lays his hat is his home.
Yeah, I'd say for sure.
Yeah,
that man was not tethered to anything.
A vagabond of sorts.
Yeah, he's a very big fan of beer, though.
A nomad, if you will.
Yeah. That rings true.
Yeah. Apple did not fall far.
He says as he drinks a Yingling. By the way, if Yingling is listening to this, we will totally accept a sponsorship from you.
Absolutely.
But not you, Dr. Pepper Zero. You take your business elsewhere.
We will accept it from Diet Dr. Pepper, though.
Yeah, and regular Dr. Pepper.
Wow.
But you can take this shit somewhere else.
We're a bunch of whores around here. So.
You don't like the Dr. Pepper Zero?
Huh?
You don't like the Dr. Pepper Zero?
No, man. It has nothing afterwards. I like the Coke Zeros because it tastes like Coke going down. This tastes like just fake candy water.
It's hard to get no sugar barbecue cola right.
Isn't that something?
Indeed it is.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this to... Why? I don't even know why they did this. Doesn't taste like Dr. Pepper. It doesn't taste good.
Usually I'm not a diet soda guy, but like Diet Dr. Pepper and Diet Pepsi are probably the better ones.
Yeah.
But the Coke Zeros aren't bad either, though.
Yeah.
It's just the sugar I had to come down on.
Yeah.
So I can make room for more cereal.
That's fair. Life's about sacrifices.
Right.
Yeah. I get it. I've been doing the same shit. But anyway.
Yeah.
Back to story.
Right.
So, she gave me her phone number and was like, call me as soon as you're comfortable because I know this is a lot to take in. And, well, fuck yeah, that was a lot to take in. I thought I was, like, pretty much alone in this world other than, my stepfather's family that acts as my main family. And, my mom's got 2 brothers, and I knew them growing up. They were my uncles, all that. I just don't talk to everybody a whole lot, and that side of the family's not very well connected. So, right afterwards, this was at like 2:00, and me and my boss had an appointment. So I told him about it and all that, and he's like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Is it a good thing? And I was like, well, I don't know yet. I hope it is. And he's like, well, what if you meet them and they're like all weird? Oh, wait. That would probably work because you're weird too. And I'm like, well, thanks, boss. But yeah, you're right. I hope they're weird.
Yeah, I mean, if they're too normal, it almost would be weirder.
Yeah, like, normal people suck.
Yeah.
It
It could have really turned... turned out to be like a real Stepford kind of situation. Like if they were all fancy and you just showed up,
Yeah.
it's like, well, this is awkward now.
Yeah. But, sane people are fucking boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, who wants to be a fucking muggle?
Right?
Fuck that noise.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, anyway, we go to our meeting and all that, finish out the work day, and I'm still, like, contemplating this. I get home, I tell my wife about it, which she knows about it because, they were messaging her too. And we were just kind of, like, taking it all in. And, we started scrolling through my aunt's Facebook page, and we found a picture of my father, and then find out that he died in 2018.
Wow.
Like, wow, I guess it was one of those weird moments where I was like, man, I'd kind of hoped to meet him one day, but I was kind of worried he would die before I did. And then he did.
Yeah.
And so when I find out about, that side of the family and where he was, it wasn't as sad as I thought it was going to be. It was more like a sense of closure.
Yeah.
It was one of those things like I knew I would never have that awkward moment of, I might see him and lose my shit and be mad at him, or, I don't know. I mean, I don't harbor any hate for the man, but it just kind of worried me that I'd meet him and, we wouldn't jive or something.
Yeah, it was kind of like that great unknown.
Yeah.
And now it's still a bit of an unknown, at least seeming, outside looking in. So take it with a grain of salt. But,
Yeah.
That great unknown is a little bit smaller now. It's more of a, well, what was he like? And instead of a, well, what am I going to do when I meet him?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the other thing about it was like, I wanted to know if he had a relationship with any of these other kids.
Did he?
Oh, I'm getting there. I wanted to, like, did he, I don't know, in this storybook world, fucking abandon me and then become better later and actually learn to be a good father or something.
Yeah.
That's what I'd hoped for at the best. But, I don't think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Not saying that he left and was a total shitty father to everyone else he met, but I don't know. I don't think he was exactly your run of the mill, sweater vest dad.
Yeah, he definitely didn't own a pair of what is it? White Adidas.
Yeah, he does not have New Balances.
New Balances, that's what it is.
That's a dad shoe.
Yeah.
I owned a pair of white New Balances for a little while.
I did too.
And a sweater vest for that matter.
Yeah.
Did not.
I do not have white New Balances. My New Balances are gray. But I really need to get the white ones because they're easier to clean.
Scottathan,
Yeah.
I can kind of see you in a sweater vest.
I'm too fat for a sweater vest.
No, you're not.
I'm not a sweater vest.
It'll just hug it real tight.
Yeah.
They're a lot more comfortable than you give them credit for.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel.
I had a
sweater
wool
vesty.
sweater once. One of those goofy fucking wool sweaters that, the kind that you get made fun of for wearing. And it was impressively comfortable.
They are.
Wool is fucking amazing.
I have some wool socks, and I swear by them.
Yeah.
Like merino wool socks, because my feet sweat a lot. And these things never get, some socks, if your feet sweat a lot, they get kind of squishy after a while, or that real uncomfortable, like you're stepping in your own sweat right now. But the merino wool, they soak it up, they stay dry. You're comfortable throughout the whole day.
I need to get some of those.
Bless you.
Sorry. I highly recommend them. They're like $12 for a 2-pack at Academy, but they are fucking worth it.
I think I'm going to start wearing more like toe socks. But we got to stop interrupting this dude. I feel like I've been waiting for this story. Yeah, toe socks to separate your toes.
Oh, those.
Because mine get pulled. My toes get pulled like they end up like that. They end up curled up in a fucking ball.
You need to get bigger boots.
Yeah.
No, the boots are the right size. Like if I don't wear socks, it's fine. It literally is the socks. I can pull my socks off and like pull. It's just the way the boots are shaped
Yeah, it's when you take a step, it's
And I'm
sliding
used
further
to-
up on your foot.
Yeah, you just can't. You can't like pull the socks tight before you put it in the boot. You got to leave space.
Are they like newer boots?
Yeah.
That's probably why you haven't like worn them in yet. You gotta
they're
put
not-
them jokers on and go for like a 10
They like
mile
6
hike.
months old.
Oh well, that's not new enough to be still doing that.
That's just the shape they are. But it's the socks' fault.
Yeah,
As soon as I started loosening that, like my feet stopped getting curled, and I walk so comfortable.
yeah.
I have to put my socks on a very specific way every morning, so that doesn't happen.
You ought to try. Like, what kind of boots do you wear?
Twisted X.
Twisted. Get you some Timberlands. And like, it doesn't have to be like the OG Timberlands. I had a pair of Timberland slip-ons. I will swear by those things. They were the most comfortable boot I have ever worn.
I'm just gonna get the real Timberlands, some dark blue jeans, fucking tuck those fat bottom blue jeans into the Timberlands, and put on party like a rock star.
So you're
Start
not gonna
telling
wear.
everybody you're from New York.
Yeah,
You're not gonna wear Timberlands. You're gonna put on some Tims.
some Tims. Yeah,
Damn it,
Yeah.
boy.
Anyway, back to
Yeah.
Scottathan's
yeah.
dad.
I need to hear the climax of this story for the love of God.
You're still a ways away from that. It's.
Boy, we have been listening to this story for 36 minutes.
I'm sorry, but I promise you, it gets better.
Let's go.
So I ended up calling her that night, and we had a conversation. She told me, she's like, you have like a million cousins. You've got all these brothers and sisters. You'll never we found you're the last adult that we were going to be able to find. The other two, they were born in like 2009 and 2013, while their mothers were in prison, and went straight into adoptions and awards of the state. So you would have better luck finding them than I would. And then she invited me to this funeral for her mother that just passed. That was my grandmother, and I was really conflicted about it. I'm like, I have this thing where I feel like if you go to a funeral and you don't know the person, it's like disrespectful or some shit. But I told her I wasn't sure. I thought about it a little bit, and then we got off the phone. Next thing I know, I'm getting a friend request from someone, and it turns out that is my sister, the oldest one. She had just found the family a year earlier.
Damn.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, and started getting to know him, and so we, I ended up shooting her a message, talking a little bit, and she had gone into adoption pretty much immediately after she was born.
Fuck.
Oh, so she didn't even know like her mom either.
No, like she didn't know any of them, and I think eventually she found her mom, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But she found my dad's family, and then started meeting all them. She's got 2 kids. Like to her it was like they gained a grandmother and all that, along with the whole family. So but we talked about that. She told me about the people that I was getting ready to start meeting, and understood that it was a lot to take in. And told me that she does talk to my younger brother that is in prison, and gave me the contact information for him, and I just kind of wrote it off at the moment because I wasn't sure how that would go. And so I kind of slept on it for a little bit, and the next day I woke up, had a message from him, and so me and him talked. He's a D&D nerd.
Yay.
Yeah, likes anime, games, plays 5e.
He's either really cool or really cringe.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know yet.
He is in prison.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's cringe.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Well, if I was in prison, I'd be playing some Dungeons and Dragons, though.
I mean,
it's a very common game in prison.
You got to pass the time some way.
Because it's so easy to fucking play it without any books or anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you just know the rules, you can do it anywhere.
Just fucking write the rules down real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am kind of curious about how you play D&D in prison because, like, do they get access to dice?
You know, I worked with a lot of people that have been in prison and played D&D, and you know, they've got a lot of ways around having dice. Sometimes they can make dice out of paper. Other times, you know, they've got like this, they'll take slips of paper and kind of write the numbers on it and tumble it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different things that they do. Or they can use a regular pair of dice for pretty much everything.
I had to simulate a D20 for the first, 15 years of my life.
Wow.
With, I don't remember what I would do. I had ways I would do it.
What
I had dice.
What did you need to do that for?
Because I think it was mostly I was trying to get into that Mutants and Masterminds game.
Yeah.
But I really decided I just wanted to play it, but I couldn't afford any dice.
Dude,
So
not to be an asshole, but dice are kind of cheap.
yeah, but you also have to get to the place where the dice are.
Well, you know, you got.
And at the time,
this was
the only place you
pre-Amazon.
could buy dice is like Barnes and Noble. It's the only place I was ever in proximity to. There was no Amazon.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of hard to remember a time without Amazon, but you're right. You know,
Yeah, it didn't
when we were
exist forever.
teenagers, that wasn't a thing.
No.
You'd still be. It'd be hard for you to find dice at fucking Walmart right now.
Actually,
Yeah.
I know exactly where to find dice at Walmart. They have a set. That's where
But-
mine came from.
That's because 5th edition hit. But before 5th edition hit, we were in the Dark Ages.
Yeah, you know, it was a real underground kind of thing back then.
Yeah.
You got to go to a card shop.
Yeah. By the way, if you're into D&D and don't know where to get dice, you can get them bitches at Walmart. They're in the board game section. I guarantee you they're there. They also have starter packs to get you started as a DM or a player.
Yeah,
They do. Along
like
with your
the
fancy
Dragons of
ass.
Icespire Peak, or Rick and Morty
Yeah.
box.
They actually, I was looking at it the other day. They have the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Player's Handbook
At Walmart?
at Walmart in the book section.
No fucking shit.
Yeah, and then you can get a starter adventure. Comes with dice, player sheets, and everything.
I always figured they were a little too Bible thumpery to.
I mean, that stuff's there too, but it's less about the demon worship like it used to be in the 80s and stuff. You know, it's people
Does
understand
D&D
it's just
ever
it's just a
actually-
game.
Yeah, and not a lot of people are. Well, unless your name is Tafif, not a lot of people are playing evil demon worshippers.
Yeah.
You know.
Most people want to see themselves be the good guy.
Yeah, the devils and the demons are the bad guys. You kick their ass. Sometimes you make a deal with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always felt like playing the good guy is really fucking boring.
Well,
Oh, you gotta. I like playing the ambiguous guy because it's
So,
you could go one way or the other.
Yeah.
a lot of the time in D&D, the bad guy is the one that's got a plot to become the ruler of the world, or a plot to destroy this thing over here. And what makes you the good guy is that you're the one who loses something if that guy succeeds. He's trying to dominate you.
Yeah, it's all about the hero's journey. You know, just because you may be playing a neutral character or even a slightly evil character, there's somebody more evil than you and you don't like what they're doing, that
Exactly.
default makes you the good guy.
Fair enough.
And just because you may be a bad guy, but he's a bad guy who is further ahead than you. And it would benefit you greatly to have him
He's
not
more
succeed.
better and more gooder than you.
Yeah.
More gooder at being better.
Yeah. He's better equipped to be evil.
Fair enough.
But anywho,
Yeah.
how did we get here?
Because D&D is everything.
Yeah.
Oh, D&D
Oh,
in
Dice
prison.
in prison.
Yeah, Dice in prison.
And that was your brother's in prison. God
Yeah.
damn it.
And you know what? We wanted to find out his age. I mean, he wanted to know my age, and so I told him, I asked him his, and he told me, and it turns out he's a year younger than me, and his birthday is 4 days after mine.
Man.
Yeah, just a year following. So, he also has a different mother.
So you're texting a guy that's in prison.
Yeah.
Well, if he's got a phone, he's got
No.
got plenty of RGN right there.
He doesn't. He doesn't have
RNG rather.
He doesn't have a phone right now. He's issued a tablet for schooling, and that's how he's communicating.
I also got RNG.
Yeah.
What is RNG?
Random number generator.
Ah.
Oh, boom, done. But yeah, he had a phone, but their rooms got raided recently, and they took it because
Contraband.
contraband. But
So what happened at the funeral?
I'm getting there. I know you're dying to hear it.
Yeah.
Dude, I have been waiting so long to know what the fuck happened at this funeral.
I had to give the full backstory here.
We got it. Tell me what happened, for the love of God.
So the next day, I was still contemplating on whether I was going to go to the funeral, and my aunt reached out and was like, "Are you coming or not?" Basically,
Because you hadn't given her an answer.
No, and she was like, "I really hope you do. I understand if not." And so I thought on it a little bit more, and I ended up messaging my sister and like, "Hey, blah blah blah. I feel like this would be fucked up." She's like, "I don't think it'll be fucked up." Cool.
Is she going to be there?
I didn't ask. I just assumed she would.
Yeah, I mean, because she actually had a relationship with the grandmother.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? Fine, I'm going. And so I went. And so that morning I got up, got dressed, headed that way, had to go do a work thing first, and then got to the funeral home.
How far away was it?
It was in Opelika.
Oh.
I mean,
That's not so far.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
And so you went by yourself?
yeah, I didn't take the wife or kids or anything.
You took that pistol, though, didn't you?
I always have that pistol.
Yeah.
Keep that thing on me.
Yeah.
I keep that thing too, but it's usually in the form of a grilled cheese.
That thing.
Stand back! I have a grilled cheese!
No, man, I always fucking carry. It's just one of those things at this point.
Yeah, how would you not have a grilled cheese on you at all times?
Yeah.
Hey,
Got
you
one
never know
right
when
in my
some
pocket.
you never
Right
know
now.
when some tomato soup is going to show up. Okay,
It's 2023, man. Tomato soup's everywhere.
it is.
Yeah. Falling out of the sky. But so I get to the funeral home and I walk in and I'm greeted by this lady that's not my aunt. And she's like, "Are you
Scottathan.
Scottathan?" And I'm like, yeah, it's me. And she's like, "Oh, so thrilled to see me," and all that. And next thing I know, I see this older woman running up behind her, and that is my aunt. And so she gives me a big old hug and all that. And we all converse for a minute, and she's like, "So you ready to go meet your family?" And I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah." And the other lady cuts her off and is like, "Wait, I got to give him something first. It's kind of sentimental. I need to do it now before you go see everybody." I'm like, shit. This lady's going to pull me to the car. I'm going to get knifed. When I first met
This is to you from the family.
Yeah. Take this, you fuck. But, so I get there and, she pulls out these little things and I got it with me. But she's like, "So these are your father's ashes that I laid in resin."
Jesus.
Yeah, and I'm giving them to all of his children. But don't tell anybody I did it because it's kind of illegal.
Oh, wow.
How is
Yeah.
that illegal? You can do with ashes as you want. really.
Apparently, it is. I don't know how it's illegal, but apparently it's illegal. And
That's a part of a person.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is a
Yeah,
piece
you can
of my
make
father.
You can make your ashes into diamonds and stuff now.
Yeah, you can do all kinds of shit. We can make them into a record.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And why is it illegal?
I don't know.
I don't think that's illegal.
It may not be illegal.
It may be just frowned upon.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe she just didn't make them for everybody.
That could be it too. I don't know. She did end up putting one in the casket, kind of under her hand.
Yeah, because that was his mom, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was his mom. So here I am standing in the parking lot. She's got these two pieces of his ashes in her hand, and she's like, "You should take one if you want it." And I'm feeling a little pressured right now, because like I've just met these people, and
Now you're giving me my dad's
They're
ashes.
offering me a piece of my father's ashes, and you'd kind of be a dick to say no.
Yeah, to say no is to begin that entire encounter poorly.
Yeah, so I accepted. I took one. Just kind of put it in my shirt pocket, so I wouldn't lose it, because I've got to think about what the hell I'm going to do with this thing. And so I went in and started meeting people, and it's really awkward because you're meeting all these people that you've never met before, and it's at a funeral. They're all in pain. You don't really care that person's dead.
Because you didn't know that person.
That person is dead, and that kind of sucks. It sounds crass, but it is what it is.
What's the difference it's the difference between, like, seeing sorrow and feeling sorrow.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Like, I feel bad for them as a family that they're having to go through that. But
it doesn't really affect you, though.
Yeah. So
it immediately turns you into, like, the biggest rock in the room.
Yeah. Yeah. And definitely kind of a jewel of the family at the time. And so I'm walking around, I'm talking to people, meeting people. I meet my grandfather. He tells me some stories. Tells me, I meet all the family. They're all like, "Oh my God, you look just like your father," like spitting image kind of thing. And I meet two of my sisters right then. One that I've talked to on Facebook, and the other one, she's like 15, doesn't really have a Facebook. Was I too far away?
You were getting a little far away. Sorry.
So,
Yeah, I can't
I was trying to do this fucking covertly, but you wouldn't let me do it. So.
Yeah, we keep so just for the record, we keep having to remind John or excuse me, I'll edit that. I have to remind Scottathan. I'm not going to be able to do that.
Just say Scott.
Scott. I'm not even going to be able to do that. I know your real name.
Then we'll just go back to John, and we'll just go with John. It's the most common name in the fucking world.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, so we're going to change from the name that they use for corpses for anybody whom we don't know the name of to
John Doe.
Yeah. God damn it. Lost the spot.
Sorry, completely derailed.
Yeah, you were.
But we keep having to remind him to get closer to his mic. Sorry.
You were talking to your grandfather, and he was telling you stories.
Oh, yeah. He told me a couple things. I went and talked to his other family. And, they're telling me about my father, how he was just like this wild man, like all the way, and like a carpenter, and, always did all kinds of intricate shit. He was really good at fixing stuff, but he just never laid any roots anywhere. And then they were telling me about the grandmother and all that, and so I'm talking to all these people, getting to know them, telling them about myself, and then after a little bit, my aunt runs up to me and she's like, "Hey, so we're having a little bit of a problem. She didn't have a lot of grandsons, and so we're running a little short on pallbearers."
I was going to say, I know exactly where this is going. I've been to so many funerals. The very first thing they ask you, pallbearer?
Yeah. And I was like,
what is it about that? But it seems like in the South, they always need an extra pallbearer.
Well, because pallbearers are expensive.
Yeah.
And usually it's just whoever shows up. Like, so we got 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 men. Who's the weakest? All right, the rest of you, you're pallbearers.
I need a strong back and a weak mind.
Jethro, come here.
And, I've never been a pallbearer before. Oh. And so I was like, no.
I've been a pallbearer like 6 times.
Yeah, me too.
I've never been asked. It's one of those things.
I've been a pallbearer for an uncle I never met.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to a lot of funerals, but those people usually had enough family to cover the pallbearers.
Oh, that's
I was
fair.
a pallbearer for my aunt, and we had to bury her with shovels.
Wow.
Yep.
I think that might have been illegal.
Well, we couldn't afford.
That sounds kind of illegal.
Well, I mean,
was it at least in a cemetery?
yeah.
Okay, then it probably wasn't illegal.
She had a plot. We just didn't have any records there She didn't have any burial insurance, so we had to do that shit, sort of.
Well, so like, okay, I'm sorry to derail this again, but when you had to bury your aunt with literal shovels, did you go out there beforehand to dig the hole at least, or did you have to dig it right there in front of everybody?
Somebody dug it. Like, it was already dug, but they weren't going to fill it in. We could only afford half of it or something. So it was machine dug, but the machine couldn't fill it in.
Somebody had to do some negotiation for that.
There was some... So, well, what if you just... Because you got to come down there to unload all the stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just dig a hole?
Can you just dig it, and then we'll fill it in?
Yeah. Because they had to be out of there by a certain time or something. Like it was...
Like somebody went down the Sun Belt.
It was I believe it was a amateur, or like not an amateur, but like a sort of a home business situation that did the whole.
Yeah, I feel like somebody went down the Sun Belt, rented a backhoe for the weekend, and then they realized, oh shit, I have to get this back before we can fill this hole in.
Yeah. So it's me and my 3 brothers and my stepdad and my uncle, and this is my uncle's wife, and he's just like, hey, I told you about Charles.
Yeah.
Just merrily filling in the hole.
Yeah, this guy is the embodiment of Lenny from Of Mice and Men. No offense, Mr. Charles.
There's no chance he's going to listen to this ever. But
well, for posterity's sake, if he ever does, I don't want to just be that asshole that called him retarded.
Yeah, he's not retarded. Actually, he is. I think.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think he came in one day saying the doctor told him he was mentally toddy.
He honestly, like, you've told me about him, and he sounds like a guy I'd like to meet. He seems like an interesting
He's a really interesting dude. He's got some crazy stories.
Who is this fellow in relation to you?
It is my mother's brother, my uncle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he's from my granny's first marriage, so he's not related to my pawpaw. But he's an interesting fella. I'll have to tell you about Charles.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a guy.
Yeah, you have to tell us about after this.
Did I talk about him on the last podcast about the rabbits?
Yes,
and all?
I think we did. I think you did because we were talking about it and in terms of like where your food comes from and all that stuff.
So yeah, I'll tell you about it because I've already done it on the podcast.
Okay, that's cool.
Or you can also listen to the "I'm Not Going to Work Tomorrow" podcast.
Look,
there you go.
I've started to listen to it. It just takes me time to get through shit.
Well, hey, every listen counts, and I appreciate that.
Well, the one with Charles in it goes live tomorrow. So
yeah,
cool. I'll finish the other one first.
We just dated this episode.
Whoops.
Uh-oh.
Is that not something you're supposed to do?
I don't know.
A lot of channels don't like to because they usually record like months in advance.
Oh.
So like they don't want to be like "Merry Christmas, everybody," and they post it in February.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that would probably throw the continuity off a bit.
Yeah, just a wee bit. But anyway, so comes time for the service. They send everybody to the chapel. They want to get all the blood family in for a prayer. And I was about to head straight to the chapel because, I didn't think about the fact that this is literally my grandmother.
Right.
And so I was about to walk away, and I looked back at them, and they're like, "Come here!" Like waving me into them. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I go over there, take my beanie off because it's disrespectful to have a hat on during the prayer. And they pray for the family and all that, and then they send us off to the chapel, and apparently the pallbearers have their own rows, and so I had to sit there, and then the funeral started, and so they had the minister knew the grandmother for a long time, and she's like this Hispanic lady from New York, so she's got it's like a Brooklyn accent.
Also, it's sort of.
She says coffee.
Coffee. She got coffee. She walks a dog.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But with a Hispanic twang to it. So there was a little bit of Spanish in there.
I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I could not mimic this, but it was amazing. But they went through the funeral like how most Southern funerals go.
I bet you. So, I wonder what like Hispanic or like native Spanish speakers who live in New York. I wonder if there's a Spanish New York accent.
I know there's a Spanish Mexican accent and a Spanish Colombian accent.
So what if okay, so uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, no
I
way.
honestly think you're just kind of digging yourself a hole here. I don't think
I don't feel like that's offensive. We're talking about accents.
I don't think we as three white guys could do the accent properly, though.
No, we couldn't. But it's not the fact that we're white. It's the fact that it's a funny accent.
I mean,
that's fair.
There's also a gay Spanish accent, so that's a thing.
That makes sense.
I mean, there's an accent for everything if you think about it.
But yeah, I mean, it's just another language with different regions, and they've got different dialects, and they say it differently, so it leads to a different accent.
I think we can get away with doing accents once in a while because we have to sound like this all day, every day.
Yeah, you know, this is just my normal speaking voice, and that's already funny to most folks. So
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm as country as you folks.
it
Sometimes
comes out
you are.
every now and then. You just don't always realize it.
This is true.
And last Thursday when you come in here, you was sporting some pretty heavy draws.
Yeah,
I noticed it. I was like, look at there, he's got some country in him.
Yeah, I almost called you Bubba.
Well, this past Thursday?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You were doing something by the trash can, and you said, yeah, I don't know, you said something real country.
Gosh darn it! Yeah, I
You
just
said
got
something with some twang in it, and you wasn't making fun of anybody. And
It happens from time to time.
from time to time.
But anyway, so I've always had a problem with how funerals go because, they'll do a prayer, play a song,
Right.
talk a little bit, play a song.
Well, because
do
this
another
is the
prayer.
South, and everything kind of revolves around church,
Yeah,
and that's
You're going
just
to hear I'll Fly Away, Can't Walk Without Jesus Holding My Hand.
yeah.
You're going to hear a lot of them.
And then they talk a little bit more, and then play a song, and then finally they close it in a prayer. And during the time they're playing the song, what the hell are you supposed to do? Just stand there and
basically.
remember the person.
I guess
I
so.
think a lot of times it's mostly just filler because they don't have enough to talk about.
But they want
Just-
there to be a ceremony because
Just
somebody
make
died.
it shorter. I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. People need to remember.
I would like to go on record that for my funeral, it needs to only be about 5 minutes because people got shit to do.
Yeah, same. If y'all want to make a prolonged ceremony, it needs to be music that I like.
Yeah, just play Injustice for All and get the fuck out.
I prefer Ride the Lightning, but yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little heavier on mine.
Either that or Killing in the Name Of would be.
Burn it down.
God.
Yeah, that'd be a cool
Yeah.
fucking. I like T.J. Hollis's fucking idea. He wanted to hear "Down in a Hole" at his funeral.
That might be a little too on the nose for most folks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's a
It is a good song, though.
it's a song that might fit in a funeral. Just
I mean, it definitely fits.
it's
You're
a little
in a
morbid.
hole.
Yeah, it's a little
Well,
morbid.
I mean, at a funeral, you're not in a hole yet. You're on the way to a hole.
Well, what is Alice in Chains supposed to sing? Almost in a hole.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between down in a hole and man in a box about the same fucking thing?
You should
By
play
the
a
same
man in a
fucking
box
band?
at the funeral and then down in a hole on the way out.
Yeah.
Well, as you're leaving.
As we're leaving, I want fucking PA blaring, boy.
On the way out.
That's what you're gonna listen to while you shovel the fucking dirt onto me because there's not gonna be anything left in the budget.
Yep.
That's right.
and it's not even going to be a good PA. It's going to be like a 1989 boombox.
Yeah, it's gonna be the radio edit, so
A
all the
fucking,
cuss
like-
words are blurred out.
Yep.
It's going to be like a Goodwill karaoke machine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Missing a speaker, ain't got but one microphone. Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother Kevin's got a pretty sick subwoofer.
Oh, boy. Anyway, so we get done, and it's time for the pallbearers to walk out. And so I get up and I walk out there, We go wait by the door, and they wheel the coffin over there. And I've got an uncle in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is one of my favorite parts of the story.
Well, I really kind of feel bad about saying this, but like, he wanted to be a pallbearer, and he totally had every right to be. It was his grandmother.
Or I thought it was his mother.
No. It was his grandmother.
Okay.
He was my aunt's son.
Okay.
So you need to put him in the middle.
Yeah. So both of her sons were the lead pallbearers. But he's in a wheelchair. His wife has to push him.
They couldn't even get the man an electric wheelchair.
Look, hey man, those things are expensive.
I mean, yeah, they are. They're very expensive.
But he, there's a threshold on the door, and it's a double door, but a coffin's kind of big, and so like, I'm holding the casket and trying to go through the door.
So you had it way down low?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, she wasn't that. I mean, it was standard cart height.
Yeah, but like he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So is he like fucking?
The man has some hella upper body strength.
Was it like pinned between the armrest and his hand, or?
He kind of like.
Okay, gotcha. Like shoulder loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some dudes in wheelchairs do pull-ups like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of them. Just knock them out. 1, 2, 3. Just going and going and
Their
going.
fucking arms have to take them everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta your body offsets like that.
It does, and I mean,
this guy's probably got traps for days.
And I'm not like trying to talk shit about the guy. Like, he's a cool dude. But we probably should have wheeled him outside first. And then like got the
little thingy.
Yeah, then wheeled the casket to him.
So was there a ramp?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Handicap accessible.
Well, that's
good. It was just the threshold on the door was the only issue. But
those can be hard to navigate for able-bodied people. Even
they can be. I mean, you ever walked in a door hammered?
Yeah. Sometimes that door fights you.
Yeah.
But if you're hammered, let's be honest, you're not able-bodied anymore.
Fuck you. Yes, I am.
You're able-bodied, just not able-minded.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I have been both before. I've been not able of body or mind.
Oh man, I need you to tell the story about when you ran over your own leg with your car, but not right now.
It'll happen.
Oh,
Jesus
boy,
Christ. I have had some blackouts, boy.
It's a pretty funny story, not gonna lie.
Story.
Yeah, I'll rip that one up.
But so we get out the door and we get to the car, the hearse, I should say. We get the casket in there. It goes in pretty easy. That goes, unscathed.
Standard.
And believe it or not, this is probably one of the most organized funerals I've ever been to. Yeah.
Continue.
But
I'm gonna have to poop here soon.
if it makes you feel any better, my eyeballs are floating. But
oh boy.
Well, let's get through the story and we'll take a break for a second.
Have you got like another half hour of this? Where are we at?
We're probably 3/4 of the way. Whoa.
Jesus Christ, man. That is another half hour.
Okay.
Maybe 5/8.
How about this? Let's get Grandma in the hearse and then we'll take a break for a second.
Oh, Grandma's in the hearse.
Okay, Grandma's in the hearse.
Okay, Grandma's in the hearse.
Yeah.
Pause the episode.
All right, so Granny's in the hearse now.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt, I look at her and I'm like, hey, I guess I need to go get the car and pull up here and get in line. She's like, oh, no. You're supposed to be right here. You need to, all of his kids are right here. You need to get in line with them. So I'm like, oh, shit, okay, didn't know that. Hop in the car, pull up where I'm supposed to be, and just kind of twiddle my thumbs until everybody's ready to go. And then we pull off and parade funeral, to the next town over where the service is. We pull into the cemetery, get everybody parked, we get out, and then we have like a little coordination meeting for how we're gonna pull her out of the hearse and take her to the crypt.
The crypt.
So she's not getting put in the ground. She's getting put in a crypt.
No, it's like one of those little monument things that sits up. That's like the individual squares.
Yeah. What is it? A mausoleum.
Yeah, the
The
mausoleum.
old cement box with a door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, when they said pallbearer, I thought, we'd just be taking her out of the hearse and go putting her on a stand so they could lower her in the dirt. No, not this time. Oh no, we gotta coordinate this because we're loading her up like a mortar shell, going in a hole. So we talk about it. We determine that we need some people up right next to the hole because there's like a little step, and we're gonna have to pass her off, and so we leave there, and I'm thinking like she went in head first into the hearse, and so I'm like, I'm gonna be at the very back just holding some weight. No, she went in feet first, and that messed up my entire process of where I was supposed to be in this. I was like, man, all right. So we and by the time I realized that I had fucked up, it's too late. We're snatching her out.
So you were in the wrong place on the casket.
Yeah.
So that meant somebody else was also in the wrong place.
Yeah. And I hope I didn't step on any toes there.
So wait, were you at the head side or the foot side?
I was at the head side.
And she was going in head first.
Just goes in the crypt head first. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So.
well, because the wording is going to be her head goes at the head of it.
No, she goes in the mausoleum head first.
Right. That's why they call a headstone because the head goes by the stone.
Right.
But in a mausoleum, it's by the feet.
But it still is at the back of the.
No,
it's
like, okay, you like your mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, your address is not on the back of the mailbox; it's on the door of the mailbox.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's still at the back of the plot. It's still the body is still in the. I get that it has moved laterally, but it's still facing the same direction.
Yes.
So it gets facing out.
Yeah.
And her
So like
feet-
when you stand in front of a grave, the feet are towards you, and you're looking at the words. It's still
Yes.
the orientation.
Yes. Same thing. Just
words
headstone
are-
at feet.
Right.
Words in front.
That's not the words in front was not my point. The orientation was my point.
Yes. Yeah, I think we're saying the same thing here. Just we're both a little retarded.
Yeah.
I think so too. Like I think we're all on the same stupid page.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, we're pulling it out and we got to swing around because, we're kind of at a 90-degree angle to the crypt. So we pull her straight out, swing left, and then, step up on the grass and get up there. And so I just kind of like follow through with it and just keep passing, like keep carrying her until, like, I guess I was supposed to pass her off, but I didn't. I just kind of stepped up and helped put her in the hole and just kind of like pushed because it was, it was a lot of weight. And the worst thing that could have happened is we drop her. And I was like, I am not going to be responsible for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to cause a rift in the family. You just met.
Like just imagine the chaos that would ensue.
The only way it could be worse if you tried to blame it on the cripple guy.
Look,
Well, he wasn't pushing this thing in a fucking wheelchair.
no. He didn't do that here. And
So it would have been even worse because he wasn't touching it.
yeah.
So you managed to fuck it up all by yourself.
Yeah.
Should have let the cripple guy take it in there.
It probably would have went better because he knew what was up.
Yeah. But you didn't drop the body.
No, we
Or the-
didn't.
the-
we got her.
the casket.
We got her loaded in the barrel.
I think that's one of those moments when your brain turns up the access you have to your strength.
Yeah.
Like you're way stronger than then your brain gives you access to.
Yeah.
Like you don't need all of your strength to open a fucking can of dip or crack a pickle jar. But like,
but in that instance,
sometimes a pickle jar can be.
Sometimes you have to summon that shit. Fucking.
You gotta turn it over, pop the bottom a little bit.
I heard somebody talking about that. Like, as normal, like if you have an office job, if you don't do like real heavy hard work, you have access to maybe like 35% of your strength.
Yeah.
And then like major athletes and shit who do strenuous activity all the time, they have access to like 65 to 70% of their strength.
Yeah.
And the upper strength you don't have access to because you could hurt yourself terribly if you used it.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard this somewhere, and it said that if you actually used 100% of your muscular ability, you would turn your bones to dust.
Well, I mean, let's just ask Guy Sensei.
But I mean, I think that's just explanation to, like, you know, when women lift cars off their children, and shit like that.
You got a major adrenaline rush there.
And you couldn't do that if you couldn't already. If it wasn't possible for you to do it, you wouldn't be able to do it. So it was always possible for her to lift that fucking car.
Yeah, but your brain's also not going to let you hurt yourself in certain ways.
Unless you just get a massive fucking adrenaline dump.
It has to be worth it
for
your brain to give you that access.
It's a life or death thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But, no, I mean, you know, as far as a strength thing, to me, this casket wasn't shit. You know, I probably could have threw the whole thing on my shoulder.
Oh, look at there, Mr. Big Dude.
Hey, man, I just, you know, be
fucking dead broad in the box, whatever.
I'll be moving wire.
I'll be moving that wire.
But, you know, I did have, like, the virgin grip on it because, you know, I did not want to drop that son of a bitch.
Right.
Or, you know, I didn't want to drop Granny.
You shouldn't drop Granny.
No, you cannot drop Granny.
So, you know, we set her up there, slid her in. I just kind of followed through. I ended up pushing somebody out of the way. I kind of felt bad about that. But, you know, my top priority was getting her in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
And we did successfully. Went through, like, flawlessly, in my opinion.
Oh, that's good.
Other than the awkwardness.
Well, nobody else can tell that, you know, except for you usually.
Yeah. You know, it was one of them things. By the way, I met another sister when we got to the grave plot.
Mm-hmm. Big titty golf girl.
No.
Damn it.
No. None of them.
Gotcha.
I'll show you a picture later.
All right.
But you know, so we get her in the hole and we step back, and Hispanic preacher lady from Brooklyn steps up there, maybe Bronx, I'm not sure.
One of them places.
I'm not an expert on fucking New York accents, but it was definitely New York. And she starts, you know, asking people if they have any stories to tell. And so somebody gets up, tells a story. I don't really remember it. But then, you know, not enough people had said something, so she was like, I've got a story to tell.
Oh, boy.
She's like, so, Granny, her and her last husband, because she was on her third husband, that had died beforehand, but that was like the love of her life husband, not my grandpappy. He was an ex. But you know, she was telling me, and she was like, you know, they had this weird thing to where, like, she only had to be his wife when it rained.
She only had to be his wife when it rained.
Yeah, she only had to be his wife when it rained.
What does being his wife entail, per se?
They only fucked when it rained.
They only fucked when it rained.
Yeah. He was not getting none of that sweet granny booty unless it was raining. And I can't believe I just said
Sweet Granny Booty. That's the new name of this podcast. The Sweet Granny Booty podcast.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, the feller had a sprinkle system rigged up in front of the window.
Oh no, you haven't let him get to the better part
yet. Not. What he did was, there was this time he was like, I really want to get some booty, and it's not raining. So he ended up paying my dad an undisclosed amount of money to go take the fucking water hose and spray it on top of the trailer so that she would think it was raining.
So how did you find that bit of information out exactly?
She told it at the gravesite.
She told it at the gravesite.
The preacher told that?
The preacher told that.
I thought some cousin came up and bumped you on the shoulders like, hey, did you know this?
The preacher?
The preacher.
She knew. How did she know that story?
They told her, apparently.
And she told the story.
In front of everybody.
That is a relationship I have never seen with a preacher before.
Hey,
you were comfortable enough to tell them that, hey,
a non-family member
it in because
disclosed, spilled the tea on when this lady was fucked.
Well, the way, their relationship was like,
in the last 80 years, if it rained outside, she'd be fucking.
Just imagine what it was like in hurricane season.
April hell.
Well, she didn't walk for weeks. She needed a wheelchair.
Better be careful, you're gonna break a hip there, Granny.
So, the relationship she had with this preacher was like they had moved down here, and it was a Hispanic couple. They stepped into this Southern Baptist church, and they got that record screech look from everybody.
Yeah.
And my grandmother came up and gave him a hug and made him feel welcome, and their daughter was like her granddaughter, kind of thing.
Yeah. Do y'all? To bring it back to King of the Hill from a couple episodes ago, do y'all remember the episode where the church that Hank and Peggy and them go to get a new preacher, and it's a lady preacher from Minnesota?
And the lutefisk?
Yeah, Bobby eats all the lutefisk and then blames it on just
his
the congregation didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And then he burns the church down because he shat too much.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so okay.
I don't think I've seen this.
He ate. There's this. So the new preacher brought in this lutefisk.
Before you get too far into this, what the fuck is a lutefisk?
Lutefisk it's a Nordic dish, and they preserve it with lye. Do you know what lye is?
Yeah, I'm well aware of what lye is.
So they preserve it in lye for it'll last for years. Apparently, they figured this out 1,000 years ago or whatever. And then they brought it over here, and there's apparently a lot of Nordic people that moved to Minnesota, so it's real popular up there. And what you do, you preserve it in this lye solution, and then you take it out, and you got to wash it a dozen or more times to get all the lye out because it'll fucking kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they cook it somehow. I don't know exactly how. I think they boil it or something, and then you can eat it, and it smells god awful.
Well, it's ancient fish.
Basically, yeah. But supposedly it actually tastes pretty good. If you like fish, then it's, fish.
Bobby Hill really enjoyed it.
Bobby Hill loved that.
He enjoyed it so much that he ate the preacher's entire plate, and then to hide the evidence, he threw the empty plate in the garbage.
Yep.
Where the preacher then found it and said, "Who threw out my lutefisk?" And Bobby then had to poop because the lutefisk was bad for his tummy.
Yeah, it was the next Sunday, and the preacher is up there preaching about how you should be honest about things. And so Bobby has to shit, and so he goes to the bathroom, and he takes this massive dump because lutefisk, and he has a book of matches. He strikes a couple and tries to put it out so that it smokes up, and makes the shit smell go away. Which, by the way, does not fucking work.
No. You can't burn away that
I've dropped some massive dumps in some.
No, you just gotta bask in that glory.
Yeah, you just gotta own it.
Yeah, wait for the next guy to walk in there and listen to them go, "Oh God!"
Exactly. And anyway, he
you know how potent your brew is.
Yeah, he inadvertently sets the whole church on fire. And then the fire marshal comes in and does an investigation, and he finds a book of matches
From a strip
from
club.
a strip club that Cotton frequents, Hank Hill's dad. And so he gets blamed for it, and he's about to get arrested. And then Bobby finally is like, okay, look, it was me. I did it. I'm so sorry. I'm the shitter that caused the fire. I ate all the lutefisk.
But no, they Cotton, he took the blame for it.
He was going to, but Bobby, feeling guilty.
He never let Bobby give it up. Bobby gave it up to him.
No, you're right. Bobby was going to take the blame, but then he was just like...
He went to his... Because they arrested Cotton for it. Because he was all like, hate speeching her and shit.
Yeah.
And he was in jail. And Bobby was like... what does he call him? Pop?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. It was me, Pop. Fucking...
I'm the shitter.
I'm the man with the terrible smell. It was me. And then he's like, I'm going to tell them they'll get you out of here. He's like, no, you're not. You're not going to do that. Because, wait, look at me. I'm 80. I got no shins. So I can handle this. It's going to ruin your life. You burned down the church taking a shit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he could just start a Norwegian black metal band and it would work out.
Right.
I mean, it'd be kind of full circle with the lutefisk thing.
You remember when Bobby joined that skater church?
Oh, yeah.
Praise him! Every time they landed a fucking ollie or a kickflip.
Yeah.
Praise him! Yeah.
And then running around wearing T-shirts that said Satan sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His dad was like, you will not be wearing T-shirts with that word on it. So which one? Satan or sucks? Because if you mean Satan, I'm saying he sucks. If you're saying sucks, well, I'm talking about Satan. Doesn't he suck?
Yeah. It's kind of like, you ever seen those Virginity Rocks shirts that people wear
God.
sometimes?
Yeah.
That's some kind of like skater brand or something, I think. I never completely understood what that was about.
It's because a lot of churches made skate parks to get younger guys in there.
Yeah. I think that's what that episode of King of the Hill was about.
No virgin is wearing that shirt.
No.
Yeah.
Unless they're like Skippy. Y'all seen Skippy?
No.
Oh, I gotta show you Skippy. Anyway, he's a real guy. He's older than us.
Oh boy.
And he's never did the deed. Like some reality show found him. He lives with his mom, and she's really, really helpful, but really, really cringe. Like she really loves him, but she's like your mom, Kevin, but like with no ability to see herself.
Uh-huh.
And just maxed out. Just
Oh, boy.
yeah.
Wow.
And fucking this kid, Skippy, I call him a kid, but he was like in his mid-20s at the time. He had a fucking jar of belly button lint
Ew.
that he showed them.
What the fuck?
I'm Skippy. I am a virgin. I live with my mom, and this is my belly button lint collection.
Like, to have a mason jar?
Uh-huh.
To have a mason jar full of belly button lint. You know how long that motherfucker had to be collecting that?
That's his entire fucking life.
I absolutely...
Easily.
Yeah. And it like at first I didn't believe it. It's like, oh, this is an actor. No, he makes cringy YouTube videos all by himself.
Wow.
And he invites girls on dates, and he tries to pressure them into kissing him and stuff.
That guy's probably got like 10 million views.
He's a 10-year-old in a 35-year-old's body.
Yeah.
I feel like he's been Me Too'd the shit out of.
I believe they're Mormon, too.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
not help.
They can't Me Too him because he's a virgin. He hasn't had sex with anyone in any regard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Shit.
There's nothing he's done to anyone.
I mean, I feel like you can probably get Me Too'd for a lot of things, even if you are a virgin. Because you can just be like creepy and be like, that guy did that to me. Oh, yeah, me too.
To get Me Too'd, you kind of have to have like a positive base following to start with. Anybody watching him is just watching him because they're laughing at him.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
Anyway, sorry.
Jesus.
So your grandmother couldn't get it on unless it was raining.
Yeah, unless and my old man, who I've never met, is the one that you can convince to go spray fucking water on top of the trailer
Yeah.
to make her think it's raining.
For presumably, some amount of money. Like, I imagine it probably wasn't a lot, but like
I'm thinking like $20.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
that seems fair.
I don't know how this fella got roped into this shitty deal. I think if I married a woman, I think we're looking at a rain or shine contract. I don't know what the. So do I only have to like take out the trash when it's sunny?
yeah, like
Maybe.
Or when do I get to pick a weather condition? Because I'll pick hail.
Yeah. I have to wonder like why this stipulation came about.
I have no idea. Like I'm gonna get it out of them one day, but I gotta know.
Maybe they had a tin roof and like it would cover up it would drown out the noise.
Yeah, you know, maybe
Like,
it's
maybe she doesn't like macaroni noise. Is what you're saying?
Or maybe they had too many kids and very thin walls.
yeah.
No, they were both old at this point. Like
Oh.
this was not young them. This was
But like I
this was
mean,
later life.
if she did this,
No, I have a
there-
theory. I have a theory.
Okay, let's hear
So
your theory.
when it rains, it gets cloudy outside. What happens to old people?
Their joints lock up.
They get sore.
Oh,
What happens when you take part in strenuous activity?
Loosen
They
up.
get sore. She knew she was going to be sore anyway. so she just conceded on the rainy days.
Better it lubes up the joints.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
You know.
Somehow that was the cringiest thing you've said so far.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
This whole thing has been a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
By the way-
I could only imagine what was going through your mind through this whole endeavor.
How loud can I laugh at a funeral and it be okay?
With something like that being told, I feel like it's pretty loud.
Yeah, like I imagine there's like a scale depending on the story.
Yeah, I mean the threshold of like inappropriateness has been vastly.
Like
Vastly
they have shot
gone
right
past at this
through that
point.
motherfucker. Like it is not.
Yeah, if there was any shred of decorum, it was gone at that point.
Yeah.
So what happened after that story?
Well, you know, everyone kind of laughed and they're like, "I've heard that story a million times."
Oh wow!
And we all know when Granny gets plowed. We've known for years.
And I'm like, "You knew my old man had a lot to do with it." Like,
Yeah, you know, imagine like you're planning to take your kids, which would be her grandkids, over there, and you see that it's gonna start raining soon, so you're just like, no, we can't go to grandma's house anymore.
yeah,
And the kids
like,
like, well, why? Why, Daddy? Why?
we're gonna go see Granny Saturday. Oh well, maybe not. It's a little cloudy.
Yeah.
Might start raining soon. You know, Granny don't get around a lot in bad weather.
If you don't know much about your father, at least you know he was a damn good rain simulator.
Yeah, you know, and
Yeah,
a hell of a wingman.
Yeah.
Like a hell of a wingman.
You know, like,
Literally responsible for
I
penetration.
get it, man. You can pay me $20 and you can fuck my mom.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
let that
right, I
marinate.
take it back. That's now the cringiest thing you've said so far.
The face I'm making isn't making any noise, but it's a face I'm making.
It's very akin
Yeah,
to if
yeah,
you've
so-
ever watched Twilight and how that one chick, Kristen Bell, is that her name? I can't remember.
Kristen
Kristen Stewart?
Stewart.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that face Kristen Stewart makes in every scene where it's like she's smelling bad cheese is what Eads' face looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's where we are in that story. Like, you know, that is what happened.
This is a 100% true story.
Yeah, this is canon.
Wow,
That's incredible.
this is amazing.
That's a good one. Fucking
I have to say, I've been to several funerals in my family and my life and stuff. Nothing compares to this.
Yeah.
This has got to be at least the most entertaining funeral I've ever
at least
bearing witness to.
we know how like sexual activity is stained in an elderly marriage now.
Yeah,
When we get
you
old, you know, we have the rain rule.
Yeah.
And if a tornado's coming, you take out the dentures.
Hurricanes are anal.
Yeah. Jesus
That's when you
Christ.
start taking out stock in Astroglide.
Because let's be honest, neither of us are making it out of here.
Like, all right, is there anything you wanted to do? There's a tornado coming through the trailer park.
You have to just pick which conditions are going to be yours.
I want to know like how they figured this out. Like, is there like something written somewhere, like a written contract, or
Yeah. So
or it's like one of those books.
What happens when it hails?
that'd be getting nasty, buddy.
Oh boy.
No, when it hails, she fucks him. Fucking.
Wow.
Yeah, that might have been something out of one of those like older books about wooing women. Have you seen the fucking meme going around?
Do a fucking rain dance or some shit.
There's a meme going around with a page for like dating from like a 1920s book. It said you may fascinate her. You may fascinate a woman by giving her a block of cheese.
Yeah. I've seen it.
I have to say, if you gave me a block of cheese,
I would be fascinated.
I would be fascinated. I would also probably have sex with you.
Look, the cheese
Eads,
fairy.
put the cheese away. God.
I mean, it's got to be good cheese. It can't be no like
Dick
Kraft
cheese.
Americans.
What about some Gouda or some shit?
If you brought me some smoked Gouda, yeah, we're probably fucking.
Swiggity, swooty.
Fucking cheese. Cheese, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
That is the one-way ticket directly there to Bone Town.
Yep.
Oh boy. Yeah. So, after the reigning slamming granny story,
Rain and slamming granny.
Is she? That could be her wrestling name.
Yeah.
wait, there was a few more stories. This one dude got up there and his Hispanic accent was too thick. I really don't know what the hell he said.
Is he a family member or a?
He was the husband of the preacher lady.
Oh.
Yeah. But we all got together and got a picture with my sisters and shit, which was cool. And then we all went to dinner afterwards lunch at Western Sizzler.
Why is it always like a Western Sizzler or a Ryan's or an old time country buffet, after a funeral in the South?
Well, see, y'all are from a different part of the South than me, because after the funerals
Or
at the church I go to, there's like a family.
a potluck.
It's a sort of like everybody brings a dish, but a lot of the time,
Yeah.
just the women in the church will prepare. It's still like all the women do the cooking,
Yeah.
and they're like we have all of our funerals at Friendship Baptist Church, and boy, they some food.
Yeah.
Like the comfort food.
There's always food after a funeral.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting to.
Like after my granny died, we didn't have to cook anything for a month. There was so much food.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I've heard that, and I've seen that at funerals and here in the South many times. And the reasoning behind it has always been so like the family doesn't have to worry about basic necessities while they're grieving or something.
Yeah.
But
I kind of want to make a lot of friends now, so that just as many friends as possible, so that whenever I pass away, there will be abundance of food. I want to make a good enough impression on somebody that my ancestors get like fucking bacon, ranch, and cheddar potatoes.
Fucking Eads passed. Time to bake a cheesecake.
Yeah. Take it over. It's better than actually comforting them.
What was one of the best after funeral meals I've ever had?
What?
So there's an Ethiopian woman at the church that my wife works at, and she is an amazing woman. She does all kinds of stuff. She's got like 3 jobs. She put 3 or 4 different kids through private school, all this, that, and the other. Really, really an amazing woman. And her son unfortunately passed away, and they be cooking. Like it was sad that he died, and I didn't really know him, but I was there for the lady. I knew her, and it was it's not cool when you lose a kid.
Right.
Your children are supposed to outlive you, and she was a trooper through the whole thing. I really commend her for it. But after the funeral and everything was over, they cooked a traditional Ethiopian meal for everybody, and man, that shit was good.
Yeah.
So good. Like I love me some Ethiopian food now. I had never had it before, and now that I've had it, I would eat that shit every day. Every day.
Like, what's it compare to? Like, if you could compare it to anything.
It's very similar to Indian food, and the spices that they use and some of the preparations. So you don't eat with utensils. You use this like pancake thing that is very similar. Like, think of a pancake, but only cooked on one side, and it's purple. And
Why is it purple?
It's this kind of like potato root thing that they use. They grind it up to make the flour, kind of like
the purple sweet potato.
Somebody told me what it was called, and now I unfortunately cannot remember it. But you use that, and you scoop up, your meats and your vegetables and stuff, and then you put it in your mouth and you eat it. And then so there was that.
But it turns your poop purple.
No, but good God, the poops. Like, it was unholy, the things that came out of my body. But so worth it. So worth it.
Didn't Larry the Cable Guy have a joke about it in Ethiopia?
Shit through a screen door and not touch a wire?
No. He's like, that's sadder than he said, that made me feel sadder than a legless Ethiopian watching a donut roll down a hill.
I believe that was a joke, yeah. Wow. But no, Ethiopian food is really good, and if you ever get the chance to try some, I highly suggest you enjoy the shit out of it. So
is there context to that joke? Are Ethiopians like real hungry or something?
Well, they were very impoverished. They're pretty poor over there. Okay. So yeah, that's also where like Starvin' Marvin came from South Park.
That's what I had assumed. I'm not a big I'm not a big like Ethiopia buff, but when you're talking about like all the crazy good food they had, I was like, dang, yeah, maybe my understanding is misconstrued a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're modernizing now, and I only learned all this because of the people that attended the funeral were all from Ethiopia and stuff. Really nice people, very, very joyous and like talkative and stuff. I learned a lot that day, actually.
And clearly when society progresses, the first thing you say is like, bring the purple stuff, we're making mashed potatoes.
Yeah. That's another thing that I think is really interesting, is just how much food can bring people together. Because when you share a meal with somebody, you're basically sharing yourself, you know what I mean?
Those who eat together.
Thing.
It is, and that's why I think they do it after funerals, because it's like, all right, this was really sad. Let's go eat some shit that makes us feel better.
Somebody told me something about that, how it was the only like saying I've heard that acknowledges how much food brings families together, or just people in general, is those who eat together speak together. Like if you break bread with somebody, some tea's getting spilled or some shit, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's true. Have you ever sat down to a meal with somebody and not talked to them? It's awkward as shit. You got to break the silence some kind of way.
Yeah.
I think it's because it like forces you to sit there and just exist with someone.
Yeah. And I think post-meal clarity is the closest thing a man can get to post-nut clarity without actually busting one.
I can second that motion.
I mean, you're probably right, but I'm just saying it's not close.
It's closer than most.
It's the closest thing you can get, but that gap is not.
It's not nearly the amount of clarity, but it's like it's like day job clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the most clarity you can get with your clothes on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could dry hump one out. I'm pretty sure it'd still be a little better.
I think doing that in the KFC.
Probably not.
Yeah, you don't underestimate. Don't come between a man and his cum. So it'll happen one way or another. We are creative. We will improvise.
This was going a real wholesome way after the whole grandma fucking thing, and then now it's just completely gone off the rail.
What podcast are you listening to, sir?
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, we go to Western Sizzling.
Mm-hmm.
And we go in there, we eat, talk shit, and, I sit at the table with my younger sister and, start learning about her. Found out she had a vegan phase that didn't last long as she ordered this massive steak.
Delicious.
And I was
You know,
like,
kudos to her.
Yeah.
I love a good story like that.
yeah, you know, I was proud. You
Yeah,
know, I was
you
like,
know.
you're my family.
So you figured it out.
Yeah.
I think it's like 70% of people say they would rather have a shorter lifespan than give up meat.
I know I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely would.
If I had to give up meat, I'd probably just die right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's life worth living?
Yeah. You know, I can get behind some like vegan meals. Sure. But to do it all the time is just out of the question for me.
You know who's a vegan and I had no idea?
Who's that?
Fucking Nate Diaz.
Really?
Yeah, he's a vegan.
Well,
He doesn't really super advertise it, but yeah, he hadn't eaten meat his entire life.
I mean, okay.
And he's a bad motherfucker. Like, he's getting plenty of protein from somewhere. Watch him knock out Conor fucking McGregor. You know?
That is interesting.
I mean, you can get protein from like plants and shit. It's just not as readily available. You gotta eat more.
And that guy has a little bit of natural talent.
Yeah.
little
Y'all ever seen hashtag vegan bodybuilder on like Instagram or Twitter or anything like that?
I don't even bother.
They are not.
It's like the Liver
anywhere
King.
near.
Yeah, that's a fucking, it is a rip off. That is a scam.
Yeah. You know that guy's like 5'9"?
Dude, Liver King?
Yeah.
He's also roided the fuck out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. He
Like,
lied about all that stuff.
And if you didn't think he was roided out, then you're retarded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was just really surprised to find out he is 5'9",
Mm-hmm.
or like 5'8.5" or some shit. Like, he's short as shit. But when you watch his videos and stuff, he just looks like this giant dude. All it is just camera perspective.
Yeah. I do agree with him on a few things, though, like the rite of passage and all that. Like, you know, there's got to be some kind of trial to take you from childhood to adulthood kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, you
know.
need something, but it doesn't always have to be like an organized thing.
No, I mean, you just got to go through some stressful shit
Yeah.
to really make that click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that kind of thing the other day. You know, there's not a lot of like strife in a lot of people's lives. Like my life is pretty fucking cushy, not gonna lie. You know, especially when you compare it to, you know, like looking at dudes at the military that, you know, they literally go to some other part of the world and have to fight for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Or you know, think back to ye olden days of just the fact that you were born and survived to become a teenager, really and truly, was an astounding feat, because there were so many things that could kill you. You could get a prick in your toe and it'd get infected and you're going to die of gangrene.
Yeah.
You know, there's not that kind of thing anymore, really, for, you know, Western civilization.
That's why we sort of sexually mature before we fucking mentally mature.
Yeah.
You know?
It used to be kind of, those two things went hand in hand a little bit more.
Yeah. Because your body is geared up. So, okay, fucking life's kind of short. So reproduce as quickly as possible or your line's not going to get carried on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not how it is anymore. We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's
You
not
ever
all that
think about
serious,
the
man.
fact that a dude can father children from the time that he's about 13 till he dies?
Yeah.
Like, you can spit out a kid every 20 minutes as long as you can get that shit up again.
It's also kind of like why we are the ones that got sent out to war.
Yeah, you're a lot
we're-
less useful.
We're a lot more expendable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if just a few of us, they really only need 99 of us.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think one man can get, you know, 1,000 women pregnant in a year.
Yeah.
If he really wanted to. But
a woman
you know,
can only get pregnant feasibly once a year, give
Yeah.
or take. And that's only for a certain amount of time, even.
she's only having one baby a year.
Yeah.
So it's really crucial that
Yeah.
they don't get taken out as cannon fodder.
Yeah. It's what also makes it kind of weird when you start thinking about like Irish twins. You ever heard that term?
Mm-mm.
It's where you have two kids born in the same year by the same woman. It's like you had a kid born in like January of 2023, and then you spat out another one in December 2023.
To there. Wow.
Yeah. Like, you didn't give that thing any kind of refractory period.
No, we opened right up for business the next day, boy.
Yeah. Well, you hit that 6 weeks clearance and you were going muff diving, son.
All the way in. Did not spill a drop.
No.
Yeah.
That one hit the target square on.
Fucking sniper.
I was watching some kind of documentary about like populating a different planet or whatever, and they were talking about how many people we'd have to send. The minimum of each sex that you need is 99. You need 99 unrelated pairs to make like a good, healthy, sustainable gene pool with no risk of Earth effects that, you know, would be associated with the fucking project.
Yeah.
So 99 couples.
So you need 198 people.
Yeah.
99 men, 99 women.
Yeah.
That's really not a lot.
And how many generations would that work for, though?
Indefinitely.
Indefinitely.
Yeah, because I think it's when you get to like isn't it like third or fourth cousins where it's possible, but I think this makes it so that no one will ever have to
Yep. You would
made
have
up
to,
with more than a fourth cousin.
You would have to
Sure,
mathematically
Alabama.
work out.
They did. They mathematically worked it out.
No, I mean, like, you'd have to put this into practice, not just in theory. You would have to map out
Who's going to be
who's
who?
going to be fucking who.
There's going to have to be some like betrothal.
Yeah. Plus, you'd have to work out, like, not every birth is going to be, you know, you're going to have male and female births, but not every couple is going to spit out the right amount of whichever one.
So at least your firstborn son or daughter are going to be promised to somebody.
Yeah.
And then, you know, probably then however many are left, that's just extra.
Hmm.
But you're going to have to betroth your firstborn for sure
Yeah.
for the first several hundred years in order to achieve, you know, maximally optimal society.
That's interesting.
It's a lot smaller number than you would think.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I thought it was going to be in the thousands,
Yeah.
at
Because,
least.
I mean, all these people are going to know each other.
Oh, yeah.
There's 99 Adams, 99 Eves.
Well, think about it. You know at least 100 people right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all now your companions on the spacecraft that has gone out to Planet X, and your kids are going to be fucking one of their kids.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an awkward statement.
Yeah. You know, they're...
Imagine being assigned someone to fuck.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, you know, it happens in places. You know, so...
Look at them titties.
Kind of a
Government
segue.
issue.
Government-issued titties.
Yeah.
You know, there segue here. This isn't quite on topic, but similar. But there's an app in, I think it's Iceland, that you have to use to fuck somebody to make sure that they're not your cousin,
Wow.
because the gene pool is so small there. There's not a lot of people leaving. There's not a lot of people coming in. You gotta be careful that you're not fucking your cousin.
We need to send that shit to Appalachia.
Yeah,
That's one of the things I was terrified about in this whole situation.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, what if I accidentally dated a sister or some shit?
yeah. Because didn't
Gross.
one of your sisters actually have the name of an ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, that's the youngest one though.
Yeah, but you didn't know that
I
until you
didn't know
met
that
her.
at the time. Yeah, they had the same first name.
Isn't there a TikTok or story or like a channel where there's like this dude and this chick were dating and smashing and all this stuff, and then they found out they were half brother and sister,
I think so.
I've heard several stories
like-
like that on like Reddit and
and
stuff.
they couldn't decide whether or not they were going to continue their relationship.
You probably
think
need
the
to break
answer's
it off
no.
at that point, unless you both get neutered.
That would
But
be.
no, it's incest. It's illegal.
It is illegal.
I mean, okay, let's take the legality portion of it out and just go with the moral side for a second.
I mean, if they both get snipped.
If you both get snipped, you're both consenting adults.
And it's not like they
You
read
weren't
it.
raised together.
Yeah, they don't read it as gross because they weren't. They had vastly different lives.
Yeah.
So different that they were able to go under each other's noses.
Yeah. At that point, who really gives a shit?
And they're both probably super duper narcissists.
Oh, probably.
That's why they're into each other, because they're half the same thing.
That's also why they're having this conundrum of, do we break it off or do we keep going?
Yeah, I kind of really,
like,
I really like fucking myself.
Yeah.
kind of a similar, but not similar situation. Like a guy that I worked with went to prison with a dude, and he thought the dude was cool as shit while he was in there. And like kind of towards the end of the sentence, he found out what he was in for. Dude was in there for like fucking his mom.
Fuck.
Jesus.
Yeah, like straight up.
You work with some fucked up individuals.
That happened to a YouTuber.
I mean, have you not heard this story?
Not this one, but I've heard plenty of other ones.
Yeah, I do work with some. I mean, construction. You meet some weird ones.
It'd be that way.
You know, it's not quite corporate America.
No.
Though I still believe the corporate people have their demons. They just aren't as open about it.
Yeah, they just hide it better.
Yeah, we're right to the forefront with this shit.
Oh yeah. Wow. All right then.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to close the podcast, huh?
Oh, I wasn't done.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
What else could possibly have happened?
Well, I mean, this is the quick part. I mean, well, kind of quick part.
Let's go.
So we're at Western Sizzling. We all eat. We go outside after the meal. Like nothing eventful happens while we're eating.
Right.
Thank God. And we go outside to, do our smoking. And I've got one cousin, the dude that kind of helped orchestrate the funeral and all that. We're all sitting there talking. He's like, "Man, I need a cup." And I just write it off. I don't think anything about it. We go on a little bit more. They tell me a story about my dad, like drinking himself to sleep. He woke up, threw up, grabbed the hot beer off the ground, swished his mouth out, and finished the beer.
That's dedication.
It was dedicated, Alky.
I've seen worse.
Yeah, but like they were telling me like he would just randomly get up and grab his backpack and then just disappear. Just he could be gone for a week, could be gone for a year. Didn't know. He'd sleep in the woods, anything like that. Just content as shit wherever he went. By that time, this guy was like, "I need a cup again," and shot back inside. And he comes out with a styrofoam cup, and it's full of water and ice. And the next thing I know, that water and ice is flying out of the cup. And this man pulls a bush light out of his pocket. And like I didn't even see it happen. Like I didn't see the bush go in there. I didn't know he had it in his pocket. Like his concealment was fucking A1. And
He's been doing this a while.
yeah, like and
He really does keep that thing on him.
yeah, and like I saw that empty cup and that bush light come out of nowhere, and at that moment I knew. I was like,
I'm among family.
"This is my family. these are my people."
Yeah. Did they do the thing where you put it down in the styrofoam? Was it one of those cups with the lid?
It was. He just cracked the beer, poured it in there, and crushed the can.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
I've seen people like
professional.
I had a buddy named Nathan Olroy, and after we worked night shift, and after we got off, me, him, and my brother, we would go to like Jack's and get breakfast.
Yeah.
It's dinner for us.
Yeah.
But he'd have like 3 fucking Paps in his pockets.
Hell yeah.
And like he would just get a cup, not put anything in it, but tote it around with a straw. When we got to the table, he'd pop the top, pop the can, put it in there, feed the straw into it, boop. He's drinking a beer at the table.
We did the same thing when I worked at a pickle barrel. And I was underage even, but they were feeding me alcohol there. They would get one of the beers went in these clear plastic cups, I guess, so you could see it, when you're at the bar, so the bartender could come by and be like, "Hey, you want another one?" So they would take that cup, put it inside a larger styrofoam cup, and then put a lid on the styrofoam cup so that they couldn't, if the boss walked in, they couldn't tell that you were drinking a beer. I would get so fucking hammered in that place and just be making all kinds of, because I ran the fryer. I'd just be making all kinds of different wings and french fries and shit. People didn't even order them. I'm cooking up fucking 120 wings fixing to pass them around to the guys in the
Hell
kitchen.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
A side note for that, I only worked in that kitchen for about a month and a half, and I'm not 100% sure if that had anything to do with it.
Did you get fired?
No, I left, but it was very much implied that I should probably stop showing up there.
Why? What happened?
I was making wings
Forever.
120 at a time.
And what, they just fucking caught on?
Yeah, I guess I was getting a little too out of hand on that.
But you said it was implied, so what was said? I need to know.
Not the boss, but my supervisor was kind of like, "Look, man, they're kind of catching on to what we're doing here, and you're causing too much smoke on everybody." And I was like, "Yeah, that's." I was stoned off my ass at the time. I was like, "Man, that's something else."
Isn't that something?
They know what we're doing in here. I was like, "Yeah, man, they're counting all the stuff." I was like, "Well, but I mean, I'm making the food, man."
It's food for everybody. You got enough here to feed the whole town.
Like, it's family meal. And he's like, "You fucking idiot. There's no family meal here." I said, "What do you mean? I've been cooking family meal every night."
Yeah, I done cooked up like 2,000 chicken wings, man.
You ate them last night, man. It's like, yeah, but that's not the fucking point, dude.
So we need somebody to put this on. Thank you for the chicken. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I'd already had another job lined up anyway. I was ready to get the fuck out of there.
Fuck Pickle Barrel.
This is the same job that this dude with a serious short man complex. He was, I don't know, 5'7" maybe, but as wide as a fucking brick house. He was strong as shit. He picked my ass up and put me in the dish pit one night.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy was a fucking asshat.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and I'm 6'3", 200 pounds, and this dude lifted me up like I was fucking
He was like, "I'm gonna climb up there and slap shit out of you."
Yeah. What's that girl? She was a porn star. There was a meme about her. She was sitting there on the couch, and there's a bunch of black dudes around her.
Piper Perry.
This motherfucker picked me up like I was Piper Perry and threw me in the fucking dish pit.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It was something else. He also got in a whipped cream fight with sour cream fight with one of the waitresses.
Oh boy.
I would have more to say, but my tummy is rumbling again.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a good spot to kill it here. So this has been...
Wasn't there... You ain't even done.
No, I mean, that was pretty much the end of it.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
the rest of it's just like commentary on what happened.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it ultimately, it's like, it's like a hole that's getting filled.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a weird journey, but it's been. And bear in mind that this all happened over 4 days. So, yeah.
Wow. That is a hell of a story.
It is a hell of a story.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks for letting me tell it.
yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad you did it.
Thanks for being on, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We hit the 2 hour mark, and my lower intestine says it's time to go to the other room.
Yeah.
No shit.
Well, this has been the I'm Not Going to Work Tomorrow podcast. I'm your host, Wolfman.
I'm your host, Eads.
Yep. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for talking, John.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to work tomorrow.
I'm not going to work tomorrow either.
I'm not going to work tomorrow.